We made it. Ladies and gentlemen. And invasive species. It's November. We're heading into cold, hard winter. And so we start thinking about bringing things in, and you look around and there's something, a hummingbird vine that we planted on the fence line to keep the neighbor looking in, knowing that it's an invasive species. Oh, they tell you never plant one of these things. Yet we were able to buy it in a store. Every internet video you see about the hummingbird vine, the trumpet vine, as it's known, it says, do not plant one of these in your yard. The people that do the videos extol the beauty of them. They say they're just wonderful. And look at that. But do not plant it because it's uncontrollable. And the one that I planted that I was keeping under control, I'm like, I can do it. You prune it, that doesn't matter. This thing has meiosis. They pop up in the yard. And all I figured was keep them off the neighbor's fence. But now the neighbor's on vacation in Arizona, and I'm looking, and these things are coming up all over her fucking yard. I'm like, oh no, it's an invasive species. No stopping it now. And that's something to remember in the future. I probably won't remember to come back to it. But here it is. We're having to move the plants in and out, get them as much sun before the winter as they can. And but at the same time, you can't leave them out overnight because it's getting frosty, you know. And this one is one that Victoria, we got it at the West Side Market or East Side Market, something in Detroit a few years ago. We walked by this table and this woman had these things. She's like, they're mother plants. I think that's the name that she called it. We've never seen anything like it in our lives. And all these they've got all these little things that come out, every little spout on them. And they can grow another one. It's like, oh, that's a wonderful selling point. We bought the goddamn thing. And it turns out we're starting to understand why she was selling them at a market. It's because she can't get rid of them fast enough. She's fucking sending an invasive species on us. These things, they're growing in everything. The little babies pop off, they start growing in a crack. And I'm like, that's a weird looking plant to begin with. I said, I bet you that's from Asia, because I've been to an aquarium in China and the fish in there, you want to think about what it's like to be in outer space and other worlds. We're living it right here. The fish they have in their aquarium, I'm like, this is right out of one of my fucking dreams, man. They look weird. They're not reality, as I know. This is no fucking northern pike up there. I go, I gotta, It's not a northern pike. You're used to seeing this thing coming at you when you're swimming and at sea, go like, ah, it's going to get you. But at least you know what it looks like. You see these fish. Everything is different over there. So having taken a little bit of time to take a look around the world, I started recognizing things. And I looked at this thing, I said, that's a weird plant. That's got to be from Asia. And we looked it up because it started breeding all over everything. It's like out of the Stephen King novel, that movie Creep Show, where the guy with all the he found the meteorite and he brought it into his house and it grew fungus over everything and he became the fungus and then he fucking shot himself in the head. Sorry to ruin that for you, but it's not such a ruin because I've read plenty of Lovecraft since then, and I know that Stephen King's story about that was inspired by an H.P. Lovecraft story, which Stevie, I read your book on writing. It's back there, and I read it every couple of years. I love it. But I remember when you said as a child your mother paid you to write your own story because you wrote one for her, and she's that's wonderful. And then she found out that you just faked it out of a comic book or something, which I'm just saying, they're on the Creep Show time. I think you stole H.P. Lovecraft's story. I love you, Stephen King, and I don't hold it against you. I appreciate that you brought it back out and shared that story with the world that's never been seen by most people because H.P. Lovecraft, oh, ooh, you read him, you get nightmares. Most people can't get through a lot of it. So there's this invasive species. I look at this, I'm like, that's got to be. And we looked it up, and this goddamn plant, this mother plant, it's from Southeast Asia, and it's highly invasive, and we've got them growing all over in the yards. It's about to take over. But you know what I get out of this? This isn't a salad. It's not. Oh, it's fall, so I bring it in and out. That's the only reason it's in here. You can't even say it's a prop because if that's the case, the prop became the reason for the story. I saw it sitting there and I kept looking at it. I'm like, that fucker, we don't even have to take care of it. It's going to be okay. And it made me think about the idea. People get aggressive about invasive species, as they like to call them, just the same way they call the people that tried to defend their homeland savages when we showed up. It's the idea that when I was in China, I saw people do such resourceful things. It was amazing. I had a bicycle problem once, and there was nothing I could do about it. And there was a guy in a shack where I had my bicycle problem, and he came in and he pulled shit out of boxes and he put something together to make this fucking thing work. Without having to pay a bunch of money to get one. They're resourceful. We keep bitching about the Chinese sending us stuff. It's because they're resourceful. They don't need it. We've become so fucking comfortable with just being able to buy something. That's all. But the point is, I see the Chinese come into America and other people's, and they move in. They're resourceful. They know how to get along with the people they're around. They're even a bit different just to get along. They help everybody around them. At the same time, they keep to themselves. I don't know what the problem with any of that is. I mean, if you were to choose a friend, wouldn't it be somebody that's resourceful, keeps to themselves, and contributes to the community? It's not just about the Chinese. This is a plant that can move through its region, get along, survive, and thrive. They wouldn't be able to do that if there weren't people that appreciated who they were and what they had to offer. And suddenly, this thing that's actually integrating with us as one humanity, it needs to be cast aside. It's not just about Southeast Asia. It's about us. We came from Ethiopia. So every one of us is related. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sometimes we don't get along with our brothers.